It was the first time on June 11, 2007, Apple announced at Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference that the iPhone would support third party applications using the Safari engine. Third parties would be able to create a Web 2.0 applications which user could access via the internet. Such applications appeared even before the release of the iPhone. It came with 16 gigabits of storage, and there wasn't nearly as much data to put on the iPhone yet. It was also having 2 megapixels camera that was insane at that time. On July 11, 2008, iPhone 3G was announced. As far as internal specs goes, the iPhone 3G was much different than the original iPhone. But now there was an app store. The iPhone got a 3G connection, which meant access to internet you could actually use without wanting to throw the iPhone across the room. On June 19, 2009, iPhone 3GS was announced, and Apple introduced the 32 gigabits of storage optional with the iPhone 3GS. Clearly, introducing the App Store changed things quickly because between photos, music, and apps, 16 gigabits just was going to cut it. The camera got an upgrade to 3 megapixels and added video recording. Apple also added voice control, although we would have to wait a couple more years before the introduction of Siri. On June 24, 2010, iPhone 4 was announced. iPhone 4 was the first iPhone to have a front facing camera. Little did Apple know that selfies would take over the world. The iPhone 4 also got a Retina display with 512 megabits of memory. It was equipped to handle a lot more than even the iPhone 3GS, which only had 256 megabits of memory. You can see the technology was beginning to look a little more familiar, but 32 gigabits was still the maximum amount of storage the iPhone could hold. On October 14, 2011, iPhone 4S was announced. Talk about a huge difference between the iPhone 4 and 4S. The camera went from 5 megapixel to a whopping 8 megapixel. Now that's an upgrade. Apple also introduced the 64 gigabit storage optional but kept the memory at 512 megabits. Video could then be recorded in 1080p. Siri was also introduced with this one. Apple sold 4 million units of the iPhone 4S in its first week. On September 21, 2012, iPhone 5 was announced. Apple sold 5 million units of the iPhone 5 in its first week. The camera stayed the same, but memory was boosted all the way up to 1 gigabits. You thought 3G was cool, but the iPhone 5 had LTE connection. Apple also introduced the lightning conductors with the iPhone 5. And for the first time, the screen got bigger. All previous generations were 3.5 inches, but the iPhone 5 was 4 inch. On September 20, 2013, iPhone 5S and 5C was announced. Between the iPhone 5S and iPhone 5C, Apple sold 9 million units in the first week of sales. The iPhone 5C was meant to be slightly more affordable and had a plastic shell. It was available in 4 different colors, but not too much else was different. The iPhone 5S, on the other hand, introduced Touch ID, dual flash, and slow motion videos. Plus, it included the M7 motion coprocessor, which opened a new realm of possibilities and also helped save battery life. On September 19, 2014, iPhone 6 and 6 Plus was announced. The iPhone 6's internal specs were very similar to those of iPhone 5S. The biggest difference was having a significant larger screen and offering an even larger size called 6 Plus. The Retina display became HD, and the option to get an iPhone with 128 gigabits of storage became available. But the amount of memory was the same, and the camera didn't see a megapixel upgrade. But it didn't matter. Apple sold 10 million units in the first week. On September 19, 2015, iPhone 6 and 6S Plus were announced. Well, not everything. It basically looked the same, but inside, Apple upgraded the 6S quite a lot. The camera made a huge leap from going from 8 megapixel to 12 megapixel. The memory was also doubled from 1 gigabits to 2 gigabits. After the iPhone 6 had some bending issues, called as the band gate. Apple gave the iPhone 6s 7000 series aluminum to make sure that never happened again. Last but not least, 3D Touch was also introduced. On March 31, 2016, iPhone SE was announced. Uh, Actually, iPhone SE was the small package, small body of 5S, having all the specs of 6S without the 3D touch. And it was introduced as a most affordable option that people really loved. On September 16, 2016, iPhone 7 and 7 Plus were announced. Apple finally dropped the 16 gigabit base model options with 7 and 7 Plus models starting at 32 gigabits of storage and going up to 56 gigabits. Apple also introduced a new shiny jet black color. The iPhone 7 Plus proved to be more popular than previous Plus models due to its new dual camera, which made a significant improvement on zoom feature possibility and portrait mode. A software update that let iPhone 7 Plus users take impressive photos using depth of field. Perhaps the most controversial feature of the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus was the one Apple removed, the headphone jack. The new iPhone shipped with earpods that plugged into the lightning port and an adapter for traditional headphones. Apple introduced its wireless earpod at the same event. It announced it was eliminating the headphone jack. On September 22, 2017, iPhone 8 and 8 Plus were announced. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus introduced us to wireless charging with the glass cover on the back on the iPhone. The camera was awesome with upgraded tools for editing and filtering our images. The True Tone display improved the viewing experience by automatically reducing blue light exposure. User eventually got used to not having a headphone jack and began adopting to the wireless lifestyle. On November 3, 2017, iPhone X was announced. Speaking of awesome cameras, the iPhone X included an extra front-facing camera that let us take amazing selfies in portraits. Sure, other iPhones let us take cool-looking photos, but the iPhone X included portrait mode for the front-facing camera, and we fell in love at first aperture. It was having full edge-to-edge Retina display. Bigger thing was the Face ID. Now you can unlock your iPhone just at a glance. On September 21, 2018, iPhone XS and XS Max were announced. Skipping right over the iPhone 9, Apple announced the iPhone XS and XS Max at its September 2018 event in the Steve Jobs Theater. These models are well named as they are different upgrades along the line of the iPhone X. Both models have the front-facing camera for portrait mode. The displays are edge to edge, and it all looks great with the Super Retina HD Plus display. The bigger upgrade might be the smallest. The A12 Bionic chip increases the processing power while decreasing battery drain. On October 26, 2018, iPhone XR was announced. The iPhone XR was also announced at the September 2018 event but wasn't available right away because it is the cheaper of the new models. Quite a few people decided to wait for XR to be available. These iPhones are smaller than XS and XS Max but still bigger than 7 and 8 Plus. The display is not as crisp as XS and XS Max, but with the Liquid Retina HD display, you won't notice a huge difference. This model also has the front-facing camera and comes in way more colors than XS and XS Max. After this comes the iPhone 11 that we are waiting for. The biggest upgrade on that may be the triple cameras with some more new features that will be coming this year. If you enjoyed this video, give a like and don't forget to subscribe and write in the comment section which one is your favorite. Thanks for watching. Talk to you in the next one. Stay tuned for that.